G'day guys, welcome back to Aussie Outdoor Reviews. In this segment we're going to be reviewing the rotisserie for the Ozpig. Overall, rotisserie is a great attachment and it really unlocks some great potential for some awesome camp cooking when you're away, and also, like I'm doing here, cooking the old roast at home. So before we get into the review, I'm going to talk about the negatives, and there are a few negatives with this rotisserie. So first off, what you see here is not 100% the Ozpig Rotisserie Kit. Okay, a lot of this stuff I've bought from a local hardware store that everyone will be able to go to and check out and get the same sort of attachments if they desire. So when you first get your rotisserie, it comes with one of these motors, portable motors, which takes two D-size batteries. Now, I have done, I think, probably about 10 roasts on the same set of batteries. So it's quite efficient, really. I didn't expect it to be as efficient as what it was. So that was a bonus. Okay, but unfortunately, when I was away one day, I went to have a roast, and the motor stopped running completely. There was nothing there. So that was a bit of a negative, really. And I mean, luckily there was one of those big green hardware not far from where I was, so I was able to nick down and have a look, see what we could get from there. Now, initially, I was quite surprised. When you buy the kit, you get the motor, you get this guard or plate, you get this plate here, you get the steel handle, which is brilliant, and you get two short pieces of spit, you get a guide runner, you get a quad prong, you get two quad prongs, and that's all you get. My spit here is running a bit longer because I'm using some extra pieces that I bought. So I paid $109 or $110, I think, for my rotisserie. And when I first got it home, I was actually pretty disappointed with the product, because at the time I didn't understand, or I didn't know, that to do your roast you also need to buy one of two other attachments that don't come with the rotisserie. So the first attachment, I don't know if you can see it too well here, but it's the heat bead basket, where I've got the heat bead sitting in here. So I think the heat bead basket comes to about $50. I paid about $50 for this, and it was at the Fall Driving Camping Show this year. You really do need it, and I think it's stupid on Ozpig's behalf that the rotisserie kit doesn't come with either the heat bead basket or the diffuser. You see, the diffuser is great. You can see now the roast is getting a little bit charred there. So what you can do is you just get your diffuser, put it over the top, and that just diffuses that heat slightly, stops it burning, but it will continue the cooking process. So when you're using the heat bead basket, you don't need to use the diffuser. You can play with your amount of heat beads that you use, and I do have a big long pair of tongs that I can play with the heat beads with, and you can take them out and you can put them underneath and they'll keep going fine. But I've never done a roast before, so I'm just learning how many heat beads to use. So I was really surprised that when I got the product home, after spending $110, that I had to go out and spend either another $50 on a heat bead basket or $20 for a diffuser. So for $110 for the rotisserie, you're either looking at $160, okay, or another $130 in total to cook yourself a decent roast. Of course, you can not use either, but I tried it on a few roasts, and it was very difficult. And you could get it okay. You can do it, but you got to baby it. When you've got the rotisserie in the heat bead basket, you can just get it so you know it's not going to burn, and you can go off for a couple of hours and do your own thing. So once I got over my initial disappointment, and I bought myself the diffuser and the heat peak basket, and I really started using the rotisserie, I realised that if you don't have the rotisserie for your Ozpig, you're missing out. You really are. It's truly brilliant. Being able to cook here, smokeless environment, it's great. So I'm sure you can imagine my surprise after forking out my hard-earned money and going down to the hardware store to buy myself a new motor, that I found this Deluxe Rotisserie Kit, which is exactly the same as what comes packaged in the Ozpig rotisserie box, except for this bracket and this bracket. But you know, you do get this one that mounts the actual motor too. That does come with the kit. This was $35, so I was quite shocked to realise that these two brackets cost me $75, $74, $75. So that was pretty surprising, and to be honest, I was disappointed. I thought, you know, that's a blatant rip-off, especially when the original motor, gave out on me so early in the piece, especially when I was away. I didn't want to have to drive the 80-kilometre round trip to get a new motor, but of course you've got to leave, right? While I was there, I also picked up the 240 volt rotisserie kit. Now, this cost me about $55, $56. It comes with everything that the smaller kits come with, except you get 4 double prongs, which are more heavy duty, and of course you get the 240 volt motor, sorry. This is brilliant. It's quiet, it rotates the meat evenly. I found that you don't have to be precisely balanced while you're using it, whereas when you use the battery version, it's quite loud. The Ozpig rotisserie system is great. It really is. It transforms what you can eat when you're camping. You can pre-package and pre-prepare your roasts, and when you get out wherever you're going, you can just bung them on and forget about it. It really does transform. Sometimes going out with the boys, you know, you don't eat as well, but once you've got the rotisserie, it's dead easy just to throw a roast on and let it be. You can nick off and go fishing, you can come back. You know, it does take a couple of hours to cook. Sometimes it can take 3 hours, sometimes it can take 4 hours. So it's always good to take a spare pair of batteries with you if you're using the Ozpig motor. But I would also recommend that if you did buy the rotisserie kit, to make sure you went and got yourself a spare. And I'd also highly recommend getting yourself a 240 volt kit. The 240 volt kit is now what I use when I'm at home, and if I go camping in a caravan park with the kids, I'll take that and I'll run an extension lead from wherever the power source is on the campsite. It's definitely worth it. Do I recommend the rotisserie system? I recommend a rotisserie system. I'm not 100% sure if I can honestly recommend you guys the Ozpig package product, because it's very overpriced in my opinion. I think $110, $100 for what you can get essentially from a hardware store for $30, $35 without the brackets, of course. I think it's a bit steep. I understand that everything's got to be designed and fabricated, but I would recommend buying yourself the $30-odd kit and try and make your own mounting system. It wouldn't be very difficult, and it could be done. It could be done, and if I could go back, that's the way that I would do it. overall, I'm really happy with having a rotisserie on the Ozpig. The kids love it. It's nice when you have people coming around entertaining and things like that. You can put the roast on, and it's a bit of a conversation piece, because lots of people haven't even heard of an Ozpig before, let alone seen how well you can actually cook on one. Doing the heat beads at home is great because it's smokeless. It doesn't annoy the wife with the house filling up with smoke if you do it under the patio like myself. It's great. You can see here the pork's crackling up nicely, so I'll let it crackle up a little bit more, and I'll put the diffuser back on and let it cook through for the rest of the way like that. You can also see that when you put the brackets on, it does use the two side mounting ports, but then it gives you another two. So you can hang your warming plate off here, but if you hang your warming plate off one side, the other side you really have to put the cook plate to balance it out, otherwise it gets on the piss a bit. Also, I think something that I should notice, I should let you guys know, the first video where I did the overall review of the Ozpig, I did up on the back lawn, and I had the Ozpig burnt for maybe 3 or 4 hours that night, and all the grass underneath was all dead after that. So that's something to consider. You can get extra long legs, 60 centimetre legs, I believe they are. They're just extensions that screw into the bottom of these. I think if you had those legs, of course it wouldn't burn your grass. It's not a big deal, but if you go to a caravan park or something like that, the guys could have a whinge at you possibly. Take about half an hour to get going, and then you have to put them in the heat bead basket. I think if you've got the time to let your heat beads settle in and get going before you put the roast on, then that's the best way to do it. You can see you do get quite a few flare-ups from the oils. We did a roast lamb 2 weeks ago, and it was black, absolutely completely black. And as soon as we carved it open, it was beautiful inside. So just because it's turning black, you can see here, that's mainly from the soot, and it doesn't affect the flavour whatsoever. When I cook, I just cook off time, and that just comes from practice. Cooking cuts of meat, you know, you can do a chicken in an hour if you keep the heat beads or the fire up hot to it, but they definitely taste better if you do them over an hour 45, 2 hours. So my final thoughts on the rotisserie. The Ozpig rotisserie system, it's expensive, and it did leave me with a bit of a bad taste in my mouth when I went to the hardware store and saw what else was on offer. But a rotisserie on the Ozpig, whichever path you choose to take, is probably the best way to cook your meals. It's definitely my personal favourite. If I'm going to do a roast, I'm not going to do it on the camp oven on the Ozpig, I'm going to do it on the rotisserie. So guys, if you haven't got yourself a rotisserie, get yourself a rotisserie and a heat bead basket, and enjoy your Ozpig. Again guys, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to the channel, and we'll have a few more videos out on a few more attachments shortly. Alright, thanks guys.